YouTube. Together was you that set the spirit free. Yeah, so rather than play my usual Saxon song, because it's a Saxon Les Paul, my usual one is got a 747 coming down in the night. No any lights. Radio operator, gonna get a message through. Strangers in the night, both on separate flights. Strangers in the night, going nowhere. Yeah, so this is a Saxon Les Paul custom from, I've looked these up a wee bit. If you look these up on like Reverb and stuff like that, where folk are selling for 300 quid, they all say Selmer on it. So I think Selmer was like the importer. I know that you get Selmer amps. I don't know whether the imported amps are actually made them, kind of like your Dallas Arbiter, your not Victor Morris, Rose Morris, Shaftesbury, CSL, all these shops. I think I'll put quite a fair whack of them are actually on Denmark Street in London. Were importing guitars in the 70s with their own badge on the headstock. So although it's Selmer as in it was probably ordered by the same guy that ordered the amps and stuff. That's been sold in the same shop, but I don't think there's really any connection beyond that. This is very similar to, I had a Grant Les Paul, who were they were a shop in Glasgow who did the same thing, the Grant in the headstock, and you could spec the hardware on these things so that you tend to find that, see, the CSL, the Antoria and the Ibanez versions tend to have better hardware, whereas the Grant one had the cheapest, nastiest hardware. I have a suspicious feeling it was the same guitar, but you could spec what you wanted on the headstock or whether you wanted nothing on the headstock. In fact, actually, it is. Sorry, it's a squeaky strap. I think that counts as a lawsuit one, doesn't it? Or people describe them as lawsuit because that is the Gibson headstock. I can't remember what that denotes. I think that denotes it's pre-1976 or something like that. Because the lawsuit thing was, which is a load of rubbish. It was Ibanez. Gibson contacted Ibanez because they were making producing guitars with a Gibson headstock on it and they were selling too many of them. And I think, to be fair, they were sort of starting to get a little bit good. It was alright when they were producing, like absolute rubbish. That's fine. It doesn't matter if it looks like a Gibson or not. Whereas when you actually got it, you start going, oh, maybe it's a little bit good. But by that point, Ibanez had already stopped doing copies and were doing their own stuff. They're not the precursor to the Blazer. The Artist, I think it was called. And the thing was, when it got to the sort of late 70s, the Japanese manufacturers started making their own designs, so you get your West Tone Thunders and all that lot, rather than just making copies. If they continued making copies, they'd be worth an awful lot more. Like if that there, instead of being a West Tone Thunder, was Gibson Les Paul shaped, it would be better than a Gibson Les Paul. It would be the same price as one, whether they're not. Yes, so I got a sneaky suspicion that this one was one of the ones when they spec'd it out with really awful hardware, because everything's been replaced on it previous. It's now got modern tuners or decent tuners, not those not the unsealed ones. The pickups, well, I know they're not original. They're G&B pickups, which amongst other things I've seen in PRSSEs, but they're also gold. So it wouldn't have gold hardware if it's got silver, everything else. It did have, whoever it was upgraded, it was like no expense spared. It did have a Japanese tailpiece and a Japanese bridge, but someone had spent quite a lot of money on it, right? They polished the frets, right? The frets were really polished, but they hadn't levelled them first. So I had to do fret work and then to get it playing the way it is. Also, I don't know if you can see this bridge. I've put a roller bridge on it. Yep. A roller bridge is good. It's a good thing anyway, because it means that the strings don't stick on it. But if you look at where see where the bridge posts are, the reason I used this bridge is because this has got slots on it, so I could pull the bridge back a bit. A normal bridge is in the wrong place. Basically, it's too close to the string, so it was impossible to intone it. Even if you had all the saddles as far back as you could get them, it still wasn't enough. So it was necessary for me to put on another bridge to make it work. Either that, you start going about plugging holes, and it's much easier just to put on another bridge. So I did. Also, to keep the slightly odd look about it, I used this basically so I could keep the Japanese tailpiece and bridge together. Tailpiece, it's called. It's misspelt on the bottom. The standard Japanese one, Tailpice. It's got an SG tailpiece, it's called. So that's a kind of sort of, is it Cosmo Black it's called? I believe that's off a new Epiphone. My pal Chrissy fitted not a big space, what's it called? The trim, no, it's got a name. I think it's kind of like a big speed that mounts onto the posts without having to attach it to the drill holes in the guitar and stuff like that. So I think that's where that came from. So I've got like a sort of Cosmo Black tailpiece, silver roller bridge with gold rollers on it, gold pickups. Yeah, it's a wee bit of a mishmash. It's a bolt on neck, made in Japan on it. This bolt here's a machine bolt, but if you really want to buy new ones, you can buy new ones, I suppose. Yeah, so an interesting guitar. It's miles better than the Satellite, which looks exactly the same as this. The thing is, they were making guitars like a Les Paul copy. It's kind of hard to tell with a Les Paul copy because it's a copy of a Les Paul, so they kind of all look the same. Like whether it's a cheap one or an expensive one, for a distance, obviously there's things you can look at. So I did a wee bit of fancy wiring in this. I put, because it's got the good pickups in it, it's got extra wires. I don't like having extra wires that you can't use. Yeah, I always can put the thing with these Roto Sound straps, they're all right, see, once you've used them a bit, but because I buy strings in boxes where you get like 3 packets of strings and a free strap, every time I put them on, they're always brand new, and therefore they squeak. That's not, it's not coming through the guitar's not on, it's not coming through the pickup sound, it's just, I spent so much time complaining about that. I used to have like a strap that I would put on whatever guitar I was demoing, but I can't find it. Yeah, so we've got a push-pull on the volume controls. So that's the bridge pickup and single coil or humbucker, the neck pickup and single coil or humbucker, and a phase on the neck pickup tone control, which reverses the phase of the neck pickup. The full Jimmy Page thing has a series parallel switch under the other tone, and to be honest, I haven't done it because I don't think it's very useful. It'll probably make it sell better because then you get the full Jimmy Page wiring, but it's kind of pointless. The series parallel thing is great on like a Telecaster where you've got 2 single coil pickups, therefore you can make a humbucker, which the guitar shouldn't normally have. But when you've got a humbucker, it just kind of makes it a bit muddier. It doesn't really do anything. I suppose technically you could have it like, both of them in single coil mode and then make it back into humbucker using see, what's the point in that when you can just have a humbucker? Yeah, so we've got 3 push-pull pots and a squeaky strap. But it plays really well, miles better than that Satellite one I had. And I do actually, I like the name Saxon. I was playing Saxon music at the start there, that was why. But there is a wee Viking hat over the O, which kind of could make it. Does that make it look cheap? I can't decide. Yeah. So I suppose I'll go for clean. See, there's So we've got bridge, humbucker. Single coil. Neck humbucker. And then neck single coil. See, huh? I suppose I put them both into humbucker mode. So both humbuckers on at the same time. Actually, you end up with quite a lot of options doing it this way. I was toying with the idea of just putting in one dual coil split, but this way I can get can have single in the bridge, humbucker in the neck, and then you can obviously turn down one of them. So there's your what, neck humbucker, and you can roll in a bit of the bridge and single coil, or the other way around. So you've got don't pull it too hard to pull the knob off. Or both of them in single coil at full bung. It's a great recording guitar. That fly has been doing my head in all morning. I can't seem to get it. Death on the internet. Yeah. So that fly is now dead. The thing is, that fly knows how to get out the window. I just decided not to. Yep, so if we go back into humbucker mode, and we've got both the pickups on, this reverses the phase. That's your kind of Peter Green sound, it's called. You can have one of them in single coil, or both of them in single coil. That's both of them in single coil. Now you can have them, but now they're both humbuckers and out of phase. And then have one of them in single coil. And the thing is, this is though, it kind of makes it do an awful lot more sounds than the however many it was I just worked out there. Because you've got a separate volume control, it does make a huge difference rolling one of them up. See, the last wee bit's like a... There's lots of stuff going in there with being able to mix the two pickups because you get a volume for each one. Yeah, so I've actually talked for 15 minutes. I've not actually really played a wee jam yet, but I not want to finish talking quite yet. So this guitar had been bought by someone who didn't really know what they're doing, but spent a fair bit of time and money upgrading it without really knowing what they were doing. So if you're going to, you can get one of these, and I'm assuming that this is like the Grant one where the hardware was pants on it. I had to replace the pots as well. The pots were rubbish. Well, I had to put push pulls in anyway, but the old pots went in the bin because they weren't very good. So replace the tuners, relatively easy to do. That's fine. Polish the frets, okay, but level them first so that you don't have high ones, because this would on several all over the place. Like 4 or 5 of them were out, so I had to work on them and then repolish them. Make sure the bridge goes in the right place. Obviously, it's like I said, because it's sitting on the post to get it in tone, so it doesn't really matter if they'd spent hundreds of pounds on bare knuckle pickups and Schaller tuners and bought like a Gibson bridge. It still wouldn't have played right because the bridge posts aren't quite where they should be. Yeah, just wee things. I mean, I could have got it. I could have got it playing better with the original crappy hardware on it by setting it up than whoever it was had this previously managed to do by putting on better tuners, upgrading the pickups, and a new bridge. You know, it's like just getting the bits that are there right. It's more important it's in the right place. So I'll have a wee jamboree and something. Do I continue playing? I can remember. Yeah, go for some Saxon. Single coil. Stream. Bucker. Bridge, humbucker. Both pickups on. Both pickups at phase on. The other phase is maybe not unlike like a cocked wah-wah pedal, maybe a bit. Single on the neck. And I'm now trying. I've got my new rusty Fuzz pedal in the board to give it a wee shot, see whether I like it. can't decide whether is it too similar to my Gelamo fuzz pedal, but the glamour is much higher. Maybe I like it better, can't decide. Turn the volume down, you get to spit a bit. As I go for the full 3 fuzz pedals, one at a time. Much smoother is the Pi twin note. Oops, I don't know what happened with the video, that it just stopped. Yeah, so I don't know if you've noticed, but I'm now in a bit of a... I've got a new camera. It's got a bit of a fisheye lens thing on it, so now you can see a bit more, so I might have to start having less junk sitting on the floor, maybe, a little bit. I bought it in, and I haven't actually managed to improve anything yet, because you need a USB 3 cable to upgrade the video, and I don't have a USB port on the computer, so I've ordered that, so I'll get like a card thing. It should be up. So this is, as I said, the Saxon thing. I think I don't know why it's cut out there. Still learning. So I'm going to put this up for sale. Probably not just now, because it's kind of the middle of the month. I might wait till the end of the month so everyone's been paid. I can try and sell it. You know, get the knee-jerk reaction for a Les Paul custom Japanese. Yeah, it's pretty good. I don't like Les Pauls myself, but I mean, I would have considered keeping it. I thought it was running really well without having the push-pull pots in it, but the pots that were in it weren't very good. They were a bit kind of, they seemed to be like nothing or on, so they had to be replaced anyway. So I thought, why not put in the Jimmy Page wire, and it probably makes it more sensible. Might egg someone onto buying it, you know. So it's got like the coil splits and a phase switch, all set up. Actually, it's a really nice neck on it. The thing with these guitars is, although I started talking about this earlier on in the video before it cut out, I wonder how long. I'm not sure exactly how long it went on for. when it cut out, I should have checked. So I might be repeating myself a little bit here. I think it was like 20 odd minutes before I had to edit this extra bit on. But what was I saying? Yes. So the bodies and necks of these are pretty much the same across all the Ibanez or CSL or Antoria or Rose Morris or but whatever it is, because they were just buying them all from the same Japanese factory. It might be a factory called Kasuga or possibly one called Chushin. I really don't know. There are experts online. Part of the fun of these things is finding out. So I'm not going to ruin that for you. If you join a Japanese guitar Facebook fan club, there's a guy called John Price who always comments on things and seems to be like the knowledgeable person for this era of copy guitars. But the necks and the woods are pretty good. I think it's toned plywood, to be honest. But it's well built. The difference is when you get the differences in the range is how much they wanted to when they spec'd it from the factory, what sort of hardware they wanted on it. And I know Grant's did this. I'm not sure. I suspect Saxon were the same. They ordered, how cheap can you get tuners? We'll have those ones. How cheap can you get pickups? Well, do you want humbuckers? Well, yeah. Is there a cheaper option? We can have pickups that look like humbuckers but have only got one coil behind them. They're half the price. So these guitars had like single coils in them. To be fair, the fake humbuckers do actually sound pretty good, but they don't sound like humbuckers. So you bought a Les Paul, it doesn't actually sound like a Les Paul. It sounds like something else, but it's still a good sound. It's just not. It's not Jimmy Page. Do you know what I mean? So I'll see how I got on with this camera. It's a wee bit wider. You normally can't see the SG and the Aria, and you can now sort of see some guitars down there as well. Kind of one of the things I don't want. I'm still debating whether I really want to go up to 4K because my telly doesn't actually handle 4K, so I can't see it. And does that mean I'm going to have to hoover? Because my floor's manky, covered in sawdust and stuff. Cause I keep trekking stuff through from the garage when I'm building guitars. So am I going to have to like hoover and stuff and wash? Don't know. And shave? Yeah, I don't know. Do you really want to see me in HD? Anyway, rock on. What's going on just now? Did a Trade Tuesday yesterday out in the car. Well, I didn't do it yesterday. I did it when I was going down to see my pal in Leicester, and I just talked an awful lot in the car, so it ended up being like a 2-hour video. So I've chopped it up. I'll do it in a couple of weeks. There's a chap who likes to listen to it when he's cooking. So perfect. So rock on. See you all on the live stream on Sunday. I don't know if I've actually got a Scott Saturday this week. I might need to actually go and see Scott. The problem is the last time I went over, I don't know, 3 videos or something when I went over last time, then I went over last week. And I ended up just blah, 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 the whole time and kind of forgot to do a video. Like, took the stuff over and kind of never really set it up. Just ended up just talking and playing guitar and all that, which I should probably just have been filming. I don't think we're not like we were talking about anything not blasé, anything risky or anything like that. We're just talking about guitars, but I should probably just actually have been recording it, and it would be like if the video had been on. No, but then if the video's on, you get a tendency to perform to it because the camera's there. Oh, I'm on the screen. No, I'll act, as opposed to just talking away and then just have it. It's like you could just be like as if you were sitting there listening but not allowed to talk. Rock on. Catch you later.